In this video, I'm going to show you project 1A through 1C. So before we start, I want you to take a look at the page number 4 of chapter 1. You may notice that from the book, the textbook, the chapter 1 of Excel starts in about 20 to 30 pages after the first page. So first about 30 pages or so, it explains about Windows 7 operating systems and Microsoft Office environments in general. So actual first chapter of Excel starts in about 30 pages after. So you'll come to the first black and blue page, and then you'll come to the first page of chapter 1. That's Excel level 1 chapter 1, and take a look at page number 4, and it has 3 images which show the final outcomes of the chapter exercises, or they call it projects. So as you move along, you can kind of use those images as some kind of guide. Of course, your worksheet may not look the same during the process of completing your projects, but at the end of the project, it should look exactly the same as the images on page number 4 of chapter 1. And with that in mind, let's go ahead and start project 1A. Of course, before then, I do want you to read the instructions from page number 5 and so on. Look at the tables and understand as much as you can, and then we'll get into actual hands-on exercise called project 1A, which starts on page 9. So the projects are in blue background, so you know that's what the project is. And before you do that, be sure to read the instructions beforehand. I'm talking about page number 5 through 8, so you have some basic understanding of what to be expected. Alright, so let me just go ahead and start. Go ahead and open Excel in Windows operating system. Well, for example, we have Windows 7, and on the Windows 7 you'll have a start button. Here I don't have a start button. Instead I have a Windows 8 which has a start window. So go ahead and click on Excel 2010, and also I have a Excel 2010. You may have a Excel 2010. I'm sorry, I have an Excel 2013, and you may have an Excel 2010. It's not a big problem because they look fairly similar. Okay, so the colors might be a little bit off, but other than that, it should be the same. All right, so I open Excel, and then you have a blank document, blank workbook. So click on it. So let me just briefly introduce what we have. So we have Save button here. It looks like a old style hard disk, and then we have Undo and Redo and so on. So this is something called Quick Access Toolbar. So we have other tools that you can put it up there. For example, if you use spelling often, so go ahead and put that spelling, and it gets up there. And so as the name indicates, this is something that you use often, like a spell check, undo, redo, and save. So you put it up there. So you don't want to crowd this too much, because then you will lose the benefit of this quick launch. So keep it minimum, but you can always change things around. You can add it and you can take it out, but you can take it back on, and so on. So that's a quick access bar. And then here we have, oopsie, we have something called tabs. So little things at the top here. And the tabs come with something called ribbon. So we have, let's say on the home tab, under the home tab we have long ribbon that is consisted of different groups of tools. So clipboard group, there's a font group, like you can make it bold, change colors, and then you have an alignment group, number group, and so on. So the groups are divided by this kind of walls, and so you can move on to other tabs, and it shows the ribbon about inserting things. You can put pictures, you can put charts, sparklings, and that sort of kind of things. So these are called tabs, and under each tab we have ribbons, and ribbons consist of groups of tools. And below the ribbon we have this little box. It's called name box. Well, how do I know that? Well, there's many different ways. So if you point at it and hover over, it shows a little blip and it says name box. And name box indicates which is the active cell. And I'll explain in a minute, and you'll know what I mean. So after that, anyway, we're going to move on to this long box. You see here, really long. This is pretty much the heart of Excel. So if you understand formula bar and how to work with the formula bar, you pretty much understand majority of Excel. And that's how important it is. And we'll be talking on and off about the formula bar throughout the quarter. Okay, let's move on to this area. It's called Excel spreadsheet. So this is a sheet, and sheet is organized with columns. So we have column A, column B, column C, column D, E, F, and so on. It goes on. So I'm moving to the right. It goes on and on and on. You probably will never reach to the end of the columns. And of course there's a theoretical limit, but practically most users never reach to the end. And then we have rows, row number 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And again, you can go down, and you can go down on and on and on, and it goes down thousands of rows. So again, practically you'll never reach to the bottom of the spreadsheet here. And so let's say I'm going to click on that little box called cell, and each cell has a name or address. So for example, this particular cell is active because I can see, once I click on it, I can see this border around it, thick border around it. So that indicates it's the active cell for the moment. And also, if you look at the name box, it shows D4. Of course, here D is for column D, and 4 is for row number 4. So if you click on that cell becomes active, and the name box shows the name of the box or the address of the box. Alright, so that's that. And then you can come down here at the bottom left corner. Currently you are looking at sheet 1, and incidentally Excel workbook, which is a unit of files. So for example, in Microsoft Word, a unit of Word document, Word file is a document. And here the unit of Excel file is workbook, and just like any books, it has pages, or we call it sheet. So we have sheet 1, and you probably have sheet 2 and sheet 3. By default, you usually have 1, 2, 3 sheets, but you can always add more. And if you want to, you can take it out. So you can, delete it, just like you can tear out pages of your book. So again, we have columns, rows that makes up cells, and then we have each sheets. Okay. All right. So on sheet 1, I'm going to go click on A1, cell A1. All right. So now we are really going to start 1A with that understanding. All right. So I'm looking at page number 9. It's asking me to click on A2, so column A, row number 2, and then type in employee. And then notice that you probably can see that there's a blinking insertion point. Blink, blink, blink. So that means it is still in editing mode. So if you type anything, it'll go in. So make sure that once you type what you need to type, press the Enter key. That ends the editing mode, and then the cell below becomes active cell. So Enter key ends the editing mode, and the next cell below to be the active cell. Okay, that's what the pressing the Enter key results. Okay, and then click on B2, type in the word location, and press Enter key. So if you want to, you can press, instead of an Enter key, you can press the Tab key. So the Tab key goes to the right. So you may wonder, okay, so what's the difference between Enter key and Tab key? So if you know Microsoft Word, if you press a Tab key, what happens? The insertion point goes down, goes below the line, the next line. When you press the Tab key, the insertion point goes to the right. So in terms of the directions, it's the same. So in Excel, you press a Tab key, the active cell goes to the right, and when you press the Enter key, the active cell goes down. Okay, that's how you can orient yourself. All right, so after location, and I'm going to type in benefit. Okay, benefits, and then hit the end. Oops, not benefit. So how do I edit it? Okay, so obviously this spelling is incorrect. So I click on this cell. I'll say click on the cell, and there are many different ways, but I like to use this formula bar because it's got big space. It's a lot easier to work with it. So I click on right here in between V and E, and just like a Microsoft Word, you can just put the insertion point and press the backspace or back key, and that deletes it, and then type in B, benefits, and once that is done, press the Enter key to get out of the editing mode. Okay, now I'm moving along to step 2. I'm going through step 2, and also I'm referring to figure 1.3, which is at the bottom of the page. And then down here, I'm going to type in Avery, press the Enter key, Connors, Enter key, Estrada, Enter key, and Jurgens, Enter, and Milkuch, and Talbot, and then Enter key. So that's it. And after that, we are in step number 3. Let's save it. So there are many different ways to save. Obviously, you can click on that Save button, or you can go to File, go to File tab, and click on Save, or Save As. So you may wonder, should I click on Save or Save As? So if you click on Save, it will automatically replace whatever you have opened. And if you want to save it on a different name or different location, or you just simply want to see where you are saving, you can click on Save As. But since we haven't saved this document, either you click on Save or Save As, either one will take you to Save As dialog box. So this may look a little bit different from Excel 2010, but essentially you are in the Save As window, and you go to Computer, and then click on Browse. So you may see on Windows 7, you may see this automatically. So you have Save As window. And where do I save it? I want you to save this on your flash drive. So you scroll down. Near the bottom, you'll see your name USB drive. And then in it, you just click on it, and then you'll see in it, you'll see BUSTC 150 Excel. So you open that by double clicking on it. Click, click, get fast. And then you will see Excel 2010 L1 C1. That's level 1 chapter 1. So that's where we want to save it. So open it by double clicking on it, double click, and then you're going to type the name. So okay, so before you type the name, make sure that we are in the right place. So that's my drive, BUSTC 150 Excel, and L1 C1. So that's where we want to save it. So you can logically confirm it, and then we're going to change the name. And be careful when you typed in the name, otherwise you may have a hard time finding it. And also be careful where you save it. Okay, so pay close attention to the file name, also the location of saving. So it says EL1 dash. Make sure it is uppercase, and just try to copy exact file name. I'm looking at step number 3D as in David, and it's C1 dash P1 dash emp bene. Notice that there's no space between the P and the B, and I'm just copying every single letter exactly it is asked here. And I followed uppercase and lowercase. And then once I confirm this is the right place and that's the right name, I click on Save. Okay, it's been saved. And then we're going to move on to Project 1B. So Project 1B is on page number 10, and it's going to edit a few cells. I'm looking at page number 10. Step 1, it's asking me to click on A7, cell A7, and change the spelling. So move the insertion point immediately left of K and then type a C. So where's K? K is right after I. So again, I click on A7 and then I use my formula bar because that's easier. Click on right there, or you can click and then use the arrow key to move left and right. That might be easier for some of you. So I'm going to add letter C right before K, so it'll be Milkoch. Is it how you pronounce? Okay, so once editing is done, press the Enter key to get out of the editing mode. And then click on cell A4. So A4 is right here. So it is currently Connors, and then they want us to change it to Brian. So again, select the cell and then go to the formula bar. You can highlight it if you want to, or you can click at the end, so you can use a backspace, or let me undo it. So go back here, and then I'm going to use this undo button up here in the quick access bar. So let me redo it. So click here, and then you can select everything. I just double clicked here, and then backspace. So you can delete the whole thing, and then type the name Bryant, and then hit the Enter key. Okay, and then click on, all right, so I'm looking at step number 4 of project 1B. That's on page number 10. So step number 4 says edit C2 by completing the following steps. Click Find and Select button. So where is the Find and Select button? Well, right here. So on the Home tab, far right, there's a Find and Select. So click on it, and then right below, so we have a few options, and then click on Go To, and go to where? Go to here, reference. So we're going to use reference C2 and click on OK. So this is a good tool. Obviously, this is a very small table, or very small data here, so it's not a huge deal. But you can easily imagine, I hope, that you could have potentially maybe 10 or dozens of columns, and then perhaps thousands of rows. So if you are running human resources department of, let's say, Microsoft Corporation, where they have tens of thousands of employees, you can easily have tens of thousands of rows. So it comes very handy. You can move quickly. So instead of using this up and down, left and right scroll bars and so on. So that's handy. So anyway, just click on, I'm going to click on C2, and then I'm going to, okay, reference. So I'm looking at 4B at the go to, I see, okay, C2, and then you have a benefits, and they want to change it to classification. So here, another way to just replace the whole thing is you click on it, and then you start typing. So it'll replace classification, and then hit the Enter key. And then you notice, perhaps, if you look at it here, C2, a few letters kind of spill over to the next column. And then you may wonder, so I have right here is ION is spilling over to column D. So would they belong to this cell or that cell? You may wonder, that or that? Well, the answer is rather simple, because if you click on the cell and then look at the formula bar, and you see that the whole word is there, which means that C2 is active, and inside of C2, that's the content, which is the whole word. and it shows right there. So even though it looks like it's spilled over, actually it's not. And I'll show you what I mean exactly. So if I move my pointer between the column C and D, and it becomes double-headed arrow. So when you have that, click and then hold down and drag it to the right just a little bit, enough so that the whole thing, the whole word will display. And now it's very clear that the word classification is in fact in cell C2, and the formula bar verifies that as well. Okay, and let's go ahead and save it. So since we already have saved at least once, you can go ahead and click on that button, save. And when you point at it without clicking on it, you'll see save and then CTRL plus S. So CTRL means control. There's a key on your keyboard. It's called control, or CTRL. It's the one in the bottom left corner of your keyboard. So it's basically another way to use the keyboard and the keys on the keyboard in multiple ways. So plus means you hold down control key and then press letter S. So control key and letter S. Okay, so control key, hold down, and then the letter S quickly, and then that saves it. So there's no visual kind of an indicator or confirmation that this file is actually saved, but you kind of have to build a trust as you use the Excel more often. So you can point at it. I guess there's a little visual hint right there, so like a little highlight. Anyway, so you'll get used to it. All right, so moving along, and we'll be talking about printing workbook. So, all right, so where is printing tool or options? So there are different tabs here, and perhaps you can consider this. Let's say you are one of the designers of Excel 2010 or Excel 2013 at Microsoft Corporation. So you are designing this application, and you can think about where you would want to put the print option. So along all these different tabs here and ribbons, where would you put it? So as an engineer or designer of this application, you have to think about how an average user or where an average user will look for that particular option, in this case print option or print tool. So you're kind of thinking reverse engineering of reverse engineering. So you think yourself as a designer of Excel application, but as a designer of Excel application, you have to think about or consider how average users will look for it. So it's like a reverse of reverse. So in a way, you kind of have to give yourself permission to think and consider, where should I look for it? Where should an average Excel user look for print option? So for example, view, it's kind of related. It's about viewing something, and you kind of quickly look for it, and it doesn't look like you have a print option. Okay, so that's not good. And review is not really about printing, because it's about spell check, grammar check, and protecting your sheets and no. So obviously no. And data, no, data is about data. It's nothing to do with printing. Formula is like an auto sum and average, that sort of kind of things, all different functions. No, that's not it. Page layout, perhaps is related to page layout. For example, change the orientation to landscape from portrait, for example here. So that is related to printing, and also margins, you know, how much margin left, right, top and bottom, and so on. But again, I looked through it quickly, but I don't see a print. So okay, move on. Insert, no, it's not about printing. Home, perhaps, maybe. But home is basically the ones that you use most often. All these tools you use most often, you find it at home. And believe it or not, printing documents is not that common anymore. So finally we have paperless office. So no, it's not that common tool. So last stop is file. And in the file, you'll see print there. And then you have different options of printing, different printer. You can go to the change settings and how you're going to print it. All these options. And then if you look on the right side, that is the printer preview. What do you notice? That's something that is obvious. Most obvious would be the lack of lines. See, all these lines. For example, you have all these lines and column headings and row headings, but when you print it, you are not going to see the lines. So if you want the lines printed, you actually have to put borders or table lines and so on. So we'll talk about that later. So anyway, that's a print preview. All right, so moving along, and let's see. I guess we'll pause it here, and we are not going to cover, after all, 1C. Well, let's go ahead and. All right, so okay, fine. I can quickly talk about this. How to close it. There are different ways of closing. For example, you have go to File. You can close. So that will close the Excel file, Excel workbook. And also in Excel 2010, you have two sets of minimize, maximize, and close. So this is for the application. And you have a lower set of minimize, maximize, and the X or close. You will have a lower set. This is a window. This is Excel 2013, so I don't have that. But anyway, the lower set will apply to the workbook. So if you click on the lower X, it'll close the Excel workbook, not the application. All right, so that's that. And then we'll quickly talk about autocomplete and autofill. And let's see, autocomplete is different from autofill. So what that means is this. Quickly, so let's say if you want to, okay, how about a good name? So Nike. So Nike is a brand name and is also registered name. So do you see? There are many different ways, but let's say insert symbols. Is there like so let's say that's copyright. So it is copyrighted. Okay, so that symbol you cannot find it on your keyboard. And then how can I put that symbol without going through insert and symbol each time that you use it? Yes, you can do that, but it takes a long time, so you want to make it quicker. So you may wonder, okay, so what key combination can I use to put, let's say, copyright symbols and register symbols and trademark symbols and things like that? Other than actually going to this insert and symbol. Again, this is where you can think about reverse engineering. So let's say you are a Microsoft designer working on Excel or Word. What would you think or consider to be a good substitute for, let's say, register symbol? So think about this. Let me see if I can find the registered. See, may not be able to. Ah, there's a register and insert. So consider this. Something that will make it look similar to that will be, how about this? Open parenthesis and then letter R and close parenthesis. Look at that. It just changed into the symbol. Again, let me do it again. Open parenthesis, letter R, and close parenthesis, and it becomes like that. Other way would be open parenthesis, letter C, close parenthesis. That's copyright. And then letter T, letter M, oopsie, no, sorry. Open parenthesis, TM, close parenthesis. That's trademark symbol. Okay, so for this, it's open parenthesis, letter R, C, or TM, and close parenthesis. This is already set up. Okay, so let me go back to, let's see, where am I? All right, so let's say somewhere over here, you can go to File. So this is a little bit kind of off the track, so I admit it. And so this is kind of thing that you kind of have to try to remember. And other things that I want you to understand it rather than remembering it. And this thing you kind of have to remember. So go to File, and there's Options. And then Options are all the odds and ends things that you can control. And the let's see, it's not formula. Setup, personalize. It's not about proof, it's about proofing. No. Save, language, advanced. How about advanced? And then go down. Chart, display, formula, web options. Customer list. No, let's see. I need to find the autocorrect, and where is autocorrect? Here. Let's see, I think it's on the advanced. Edit customer list. Okay. Oh, sequence, maybe here. Nope, that's not it. Looking for autocomplete. Cut and paste. Print, chart, display. Okay. Of course, they changed things around from Office 2010. This is Office, I'm sorry, the Excel 2010. This is Excel 13. So it looks a little bit different. So let me go back to General. Okay. That is odd. Let's see. Language. How about language? It could be language. Really? Maybe my eyes are a little bit too tired. I'm not seeing what I'm looking at. Is that what is going on? How about proofing? Okay. Custom dictionary. Ah, it's here. So okay, so on the proofing, autocorrect options and the autocorrect options button here. Alright, so you see here, open parentheses, let us see, close parentheses, that's for copyright. And that's a European euro dollar, all for registered. And then, so these are kind of common typos, ABBOUT instead, about. Okay, so here's a kind of thing, a lot of things that we make it oftentimes incorrectly, and then it'll automatically correct it. But also, if you want to create something new, you can do that. So you can type what are the sequence of keys, and then what are the character or word that you want to replace it or complete it later on. And then you can keep using the same sequence of keys. Alright, so sorry about that. Go ahead and click on OK or cancel. So again, it was File, Options and Proofing, and Auto Correct Options. So I'm going to cancel it. So, alright, that was a little bit long. And I'm moving on to 1C. Okay, so with that file open, click on 1A, make it active, and then let's see, type, insert the symbol. So team, I'm looking at the figure number 1.8, team net, and then open parentheses, letter R, and close parentheses, and space bar, and then that sequence of letters or keys, and turn into a registered symbol, and hit the enter key. And I think that's it. You're going to close by clicking on, okay, of course you want to save it, and then you close it. Okay, it's still saving. So you have to let it save. Okay, it's complete, and then click on X, and that's it.